It was early spring in the wild forests of Alaska, the air crisp and still as the trees began to awaken from their winter slumber. The snow had recently melted, and the forest was coming to life once again. In this remote part of the world, wildlife roamed freely, and the balance of nature played out in ways that most people never got to witness. On this particular day, a group of wildlife photographers had set up camp near a quiet stream, hoping to capture some of the majestic animals of the region. They were equipped with their cameras, eager to get shots of moose, wolves, and perhaps even a rare sighting of a bald eagle. What they didn't expect was the story that would unfold before them, one that would change their understanding of the animal world forever. As the photographers sat by the stream, they heard rustling in the underbrush. The sound was unmistakable, a bear. The mother bear, a large grizzly known as Cody, emerged from the woods, her thick fur blending with the surrounding trees. But what caught their attention wasn't just her presence. It was the distress in her eyes. Cody, the photographers quickly realized, wasn't alone. Behind her, two tiny cubs tottered cautiously, their small frames barely visible beneath the towering figure of their mother. The photographers knew this could be a rare opportunity to capture the intimate moments of a bear family, but something about Cody's behavior seemed different. She was acting erratically, pacing back and forth, her body tense as if she were desperately trying to communicate something. It wasn't until the photographers zoomed in with their cameras that they noticed the most shocking detail. Cody's eyes weren't just filled with worry. They were pleading. The bear's movements were frantic, her body language unmistakable. She was asking for help. Her cubs were struggling to keep up with her, clearly exhausted and weaker than they should have been. It quickly became clear that something was terribly wrong. The photographers, heartbroken by what they were seeing, knew they had to act. They immediately contacted the local wildlife authorities, explaining the situation. It was clear that Cody and her cubs were in distress, and they feared the worst, that the cubs were too weak to survive on their own. Within hours, a team of wildlife specialists arrived at the scene. As they approached cautiously, Cody stood her ground, her body tense but not aggressive. The team quickly assessed the situation, discovering that the cubs were malnourished, their fur thin and their bodies frail. Cody, too, was visibly exhausted. It seemed that food had been scarce for the bear family in the harsh months following the winter, and the cubs had suffered as a result. In an unexpected turn, Cody allowed the experts to approach. She had clearly reached the point where she knew she couldn't care for her cubs alone. Her desperation had transformed into a silent plea for help. The wildlife team worked swiftly, setting up a feeding station nearby and carefully coaxing the cubs into a safe area. What happened next was nothing short of miraculous. As the team provided the cubs with nourishment, special nutrient-rich food designed for wildlife rehabilitation, Cody stepped back, still watching but no longer anxious. The transformation was immediate. The cubs began to gain strength, their little bodies responding to the nourishment they so desperately needed. Cody, too, seemed to relax, her shoulders lowering as if a weight had been lifted from her. Over the following weeks, the team continued to monitor the bear family, ensuring the cubs were getting the proper care and nutrition. Cody, once again healthy and strong, began to show signs of her former self, leading her cubs through the forest, teaching them how to forage, and allowing them to grow into strong young bears. What had started as a heartbreaking situation, where a mother bear had seemingly begged for help, ended in an inspiring act of cooperation between humans and animals. Cody's silent plea for help reminded the team of the deep connection that exists between all living creatures, even in the wildest corners of the earth. The photographers, who had witnessed the entire event, couldn't believe what they had just captured. What had started as a moment of desperation had turned into a story of survival, proving that, sometimes, even in the harshest of environments, help can come when it's needed the most. Thanks for watching the video. Subscribe for more interesting videos, like and share this video. Have a nice day.